Who's got something to talk about wood turn?
Gallery items? How about some
Yes.
wood turning stuff? How about some gallery? What have we been turning, folks?
I've been
Matt, we got
working,
anybody?
I've been working on a vase I started last year.
No, I only got one or two things done this past week.
That's
I
more
didn't
than I
get to
got
spend.
done.
I didn't get to spend much time in the shop this past week, partly
I have
because my
not
back's been acting up.
I haven't spent any time in the shop this week.
And it didn't go good this week for me.
Dale, you said you had something to show, right?
Yep, I do. One item.
Let's get the show on the road.
Alrighty, I'm ready when you is.
We got you.
Okay, this is a garlic keeper. I saw some people making them on YouTube, so I thought I'd try one. My wife always uses fresh garlic, so I made one for her.
Cool.
It's out of
Nice.
box.
It's
It's out of that box elder I got.
Oh,
There
yeah.
was one fairly decent sized branch on that tree that had been dead for a long time, so it was nice and dry.
That's pretty.
Very pretty.
So I was able
It
to
just means they can hear me
make a
talk.
box out of it. Most of that box elder is still so wet it'd be a year or two down the road before I can even think about making a box out of it. But this one I can.
That is pretty.
Like that.
Yep. And that's all I got done this week. Because
Yeah.
boxes take me a while. I'm not the world's fastest turner.
Slow and steady.
Yep. Very
Yep.
nice. Very nice, Dale. So next
Thank
up, we've got Dewey says he has an update.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, I had showed you a vase that I'd engraved, and that I give you an update whenever as I went along. So I've got it. Kind of sorry about the light. I'm facing a window, but I've got it pretty much carved now,
Nice.
sanded, and I've got to do some more work on it. And so it's
That's incredible. That's looking amazing,
looking
Dewey.
great. That's looking great, Dewey.
yeah. I got to do a bunch more sanding. And I got some detail work to do on the leaves and stuff. So
I'm afraid to touch that thing. It looks like it's whipping.
huh?
I said it looks like it's whipping, like it's moving.
Oh yeah. Well, anyway.
Wow, that's very thin.
This next week I should have it completed. I hope, if I can get this chuck off of it without hurting it. So
Hey, Dewey, what's the wall thickness on it?
3/16.
Is it about 1/16? That's what I was thinking. Okay.
1/8 to 3/16.
Oh, okay. Right
Very
on.
nice.
Yeah, that's sweet. Can't wait to see the
Gonna
finished
be-
project.
It's a great piece.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. I wouldn't even try something like that. As clumsy as I is, I'd break it.
Me too.
Hey, I have before. I had a face completely done. I mean, and it was embellished and everything. And I walked out of the shop and dropped it, and it broke.
Oh
no.
God. Heartbreak.
So anyway,
Well, I'll
know,
tell you
but
what, that's pretty.
hopefully next week we'll have her done, and y'all can take a good look at it.
Oh
What kind
yeah.
of wood was that?
Thanks, Dewey.
What kind of wood was that?
What's that?
What kind of wood was that?
Oh, it's cherry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like-
you better make sure that stays pretty thin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Without
Cherry's
cracking.
kind of a harder wood, and so it carves pretty nice, so but
I was talking about the cracking.
Nice straight grain.
sir,
Really pretty though.
Oops. So this week on the weekend, one of my club members did a spin top demo, and what he was doing was he was inserting 1/4-inch dowels. He was just turning the bottom and then inserting a 1/4-inch dowel and sprinkling it with glitter and being done. So I tried a couple of those today. So that's what it looks like with the glitter on it. That's what it looks like with the top, with the thing on it. So the cool part is when you spin it.
It flies.
Right on the floor.
Went to warp speed.
I need to work on my spin technique, but it looks really, really cool when you
Yeah,
spin
that is.
these.
That
is,
does
yeah.
look cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So,
Wow.
so there was a couple of things that he was doing. He wasn't doing it. He put it into the chuck. He would put it into the jaws to turn the tip on it. Okay. And the way I made these, I was like, they're too big for my jaws. Okay. So, so I had to come up with a way to hold them, and the 1/4 inch end bit is too small for my pin jaws. So what I did is I made a little sleeve for my pin jaws, and this is a 1/4 inch hole, and then I cut a section out, as you can see, and it
Right.
I clamp it around. But what else that lets me do? He wasn't turning or sanding or doing anything with this part. So what this lets me do is I can put it in here, oops, and hold it, okay, and turn this, which is what I did in this one, okay,
Right.
and then you could turn it around and put it in like this and hold it, and turn this bit. So I did that with my bigger jaws too. I got one of these for my bigger jaws because I screwed up and made a tenon too small once. So, but this is a
Yeah.
fantastic idea. It works for a lot of things.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
What is that? Like a little door
Homemade collet,
stopper?
homemade collet
it's-
chucks are homemade
Yeah, it's-
collet
it's
chucks are handy as pockets on a shirt. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
Is that-
yeah, it's a simple collet chuck, and it just fits in the jaws. And I made one for my big chuck too, where the 50mm jaws. So yeah, I'm delighted to find a way to be able to hold things like that. So now I have a couple of these now. So
Now you tell me.
Matt, if anybody was watching me while I was setting the lathe up there, I've just put my chuck on. I've literally just put my chuck on the lathe, and what was in my chuck is exactly what you're talking about there.
Let's see.
Yep. And that is pretty much, if you go onto the lathe camera, that is pretty much exactly what Matt's talking about. But I use that on all of my jaws. And this one,
I've got several different size ones for my jaws too. So yeah.
They work really well depending on what you're holding.
Yep.
And last
Very
tips and
nice.
tricks, I showed how to make an expanding collet jaw from 1/8 to 1/2 inch, but all with one set of piece of wood.
Yeah,
they're very handy to have.
Yep.
Very cool.
Easy to make.
Yep. So next up is Albert. What you got, Al?
Well, I'm on almost the same thing. I tried to make another tipsy top that Dane showed.
Okay.
It still, it'll go about 3/4, but I still can't get it to come over across and be on top. So I'm not sure if I have to take too much out or take out some of the top or make this here different. I'm not sure, but I'll do it again and again and again and again probably. Now, and my trophy, I still can't get the glue to hold that trophy on there. So maybe I might have to put the trophy back on and make it a little bit thinner and lighter.
Did you try to resin? Al,
yes, I did. The first time I was a cheapskate and I didn't make enough. That's on me. So then I come out the next day and it fell over, and then I filled the whole cavity that I have with tight bond too. And I let it go for, I think, a day and a half, and it fell over. Yeah. And I did something else yesterday. I forget which one I used yesterday, but anyway, it didn't work this morning. So I filled the whole cavity up with would you say was the epoxy?
Yep.
So I'm not even going to touch it. Maybe shouldn't. Okay. Does anybody know if I say what is a gimbal? I watched Pete with Twisted Trees the other day, and he made the hashtag is a candlestick holder. So it spins. This is like if you're on a ship, and it keeps the candle, and then it spins and keeps the candle level.
Nice.
It's called a gimbal.
Cool.
Pete with Twisted Trees is fantastic to watch. I highly recommend people checking them out. But he comes up with some goofy stuff like this. Yeah. So,
It looks like
I mean,
Looks good, Adam.
so I keep playing around.
Looks good.
Anyway, my wife, I had to write this down. Where is it? She looked at my trophy. She goes, "Yeah, you should get a trophy." I wrote this down because you're able to waste as much time as good as anyone. That's what she said to me. So, everybody have a good evening. I hope everybody has a great night.
Thank you.
Thanks, Al.
Thanks, Al.
Next up is Billy.
Ooh. Well, I'm almost ashamed to show this one after seeing Dewey's, but I started this vase. Just give you an idea how big it is. I started this live oak vase a year ago, and it was just so big and heavy before I hollowed it out that I thought, I'm not even going to attempt to hollow this and finish it until I either get or make me a steady rest, because I knew it was going to be flying out of the chuck. So I did, and I've got a steady rest now, and I've got it hollowed out. I've still got to sand it a little bit more. I'm not real happy with that. I've got one coat of tung oil on it right now, drying up. It's had a pretty nice inclusion in it that I think looks pretty cool.
That is cool.
Bragging.
Yeah.
And the grain in it is just like live oak. It's crazy. It almost reminds me, the grain in a lot of live oak almost reminds me of Australian she oak. And I really like the way it looks. And I'm seriously contemplating putting color on this, but I'm not sure.
Cool.
No.
Color always has my support.
Yeah. You know where my boat would be at.
I know. I heard Brenda go,
Color.
But
Buy that puppy.
one of the reasons is, and it's natural. It's all natural. There's no CA staining in this at all, but you can see the color variation
Yeah, it's amazing.
in it, and it's really cool. And I don't want to detract from that or hide it, but at the same time, I think it would look better if I colored it. So I don't know yet.
Well,
So
you
one of the games you could play is you could water down the color so that it shows some of the character of the wood, but still adds something to it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, you can put a dye on it, and a dye will let the grain come on through.
Yep.
And
True.
But-
I will only use dye. I will never.
Yeah. At the
paint
same
a piece of
time,
wood.
I thin my dye out with alcohol,
I do too.
and then I can put on several coats, but it really gets into the wood, and that's what I like. It brings out everything.
yeah,
But I wouldn't
Yeah,
put
but I've made some sanding sticks, and I sanded this on the inside with them after I used my carbide scraper. I got it fairly smooth, but I could be happier. So I've got a ball sander that I picked up. I don't remember where. The only problem is I don't have anything long enough to get down in there to it. So I ordered an extension for that today. It'll be here tomorrow. So I'll put that ball sander on that extension and I'll get after it.
Before I started coloring, I watched a lot of Martin Saban Smith's coloring videos on YouTube.
Me too. And I also watch Stuart
Farini.
Yep,
Farini.
I've watched him too.
Watch Matthias Bear.
And Sam Angelo too. But
Yeah.
I think what I'm going to do is I'll start with black like I always do and sand it back, and then go from there.
What I use is PVC, get a piece of PVC and cut it on the ends to fit the sandpaper. And then I get that foam pipe insulation. And you get various sizes of it and wrap it. That's what I sanded the inside of mine with, and it worked real well. So far as, because it gives it some cushion, and
Right.
it still is flat enough that it'll make contact, you know. So
Right. Well, I've got you know those miniature baseball bats you get as souvenirs some places. I've got one of those that I've taped to the big end. I've wrapped it with sandpaper on the end of it and taped it up, and I've been using that, and it works fairly well. And on the end of it, where the butt was, I cut a cross slots in it, and I stick sandpaper in that, and I use that, and it works fairly well. But it's still not quite as smooth as I want it to be. So a 2-inch flap wheel. That's an idea, Joaquin. I hadn't thought of that.
well, can you make one something like that?
Maybe. I make my own you know, for the small sanding discs, I make my own things for those. So I could make a flap wheel.
Yeah,
I got a 1.5-inch flap wheel off of Amazon. It was like a pack of 4 for $10.
Oh, that ain't bad.
And I use 60 grit in that to just get rid of all the tool marks and everything. Then I hand sand with a stick about that long to get up into the inside.
Right.
That's what I work on from 80 on after that point.
Yeah, I just bought a drill bit extension with grub screws. So
Yeah, that's what I ordered. I ordered 2, 12 and a 6.
Yep, that's exactly what I have.
Same here.
They'll be here tomorrow.
Very cool.
Billy, would
Yes.
something like this work? It's a sanding
A
disc.
mop? Yeah, I think that's referred to as a mop, right?
I don't know.
Sanding
I don't
mop.
know. I don't know what grit it is, but I mean, you could force something down in there and have an extension on that. I got that
Right.
at Harbor Freight.
Hey,
I don't know.
Sometimes those work, sometimes they don't. That particular type of abrasive. With something as hard as oak, I'm not sure.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. Yep.
Speaking of sandpaper, has anybody tried that 3M Cubitron sandpaper?
Who?
3M Cubitron. It's
No, but I've heard good things about it.
yeah, it's got it's a ceramic, and it's a kind of a pyramid shaped grains, you know.
Right.
Yeah, Stumpy Nubs raves about it.
Well, ceramic is you can control for one reason or another from what I read. With the ceramic grits that are coming out now, they can control the grit size a whole lot easier and better for some reason than they do some of the aluminum oxide, and they get better shapes, I think, because of the crystalline structure of the ceramic. And they're supposed to wear like nearly, not forever, but they're supposed to outwear and outcut all the aluminum oxides on the market. So I've been curious about trying them.
Well, I bought a roll of 220 or 240, and I'm gonna give it a shot and see how it works. So
Cool.
I bought a sample, you know, of different grits, and I got the 80 grit out, and I was playing with it, and I tell you what, it does not load up. It doesn't load up with dust like some of the regular sandpapers do, you know. So,
Wow.
While you guys talking about the sandpaper, put the names and if you got links, put them in the chat for those that are interested in it. Man, who else we got?
Next up is Dave Kingsley.
Hey, I almost put it on the floor.
Don't do that.
Oh, that's pretty, Dave. That's pretty.
that's nice.
I've got a lot of nice cherry and I'm having a ball with it.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
It's
Dave.
my favorite wood. Very nice, Dave.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites too. That and black walnut, but cherry's a lot easier to come by around here.
Hmm.
And then I got to playing around and
Oh, it's nice.
it's a
Beautiful.
cute little box.
That's a neat shape. I like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like it, like its shape. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking of making this a dome. And then when I got to turning it, as I was coming down, I said, gee, I like that. So I left it.
They match up. The shapes match up real nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
It does.
Yeah.
It's very pretty. Very pretty.
It's got some nasty cracks in it, but
Yeah, I appreciate it though.
what the heck? Can't win them all.
I think the
Features.
shape takes everything away. You're not looking at anything but the shape.
But it's got a nice loose top. Somebody will enjoy it.
I'm sure they
Yeah.
will.
Mhm.
But that was my limit of my time for the week.
You did
Very
great.
nice, Dave.
Thank you.
Quality
Yep, so
over.
next up is Brenda.
Oh, hi. So I have yet another set of salt and pepper shakers. And this is the last ones I'm making because these things about kicked my butt. I could not get the jam chucks to work on these things at all. It was either too big or too small. I mean, nice and tight, fit on there. Next thing I knew, the darn thing cracked. So I ended up trying to use another piece of wood to make the jam chucks. That didn't work either. So I ended up using what is it? Expanding jaws, like pin jaws. Those things came off of that too, to do the top. So I ended up hand sanding the tops on the pin jaws and finished them. And then put the bottoms in.
Nice.
Very
They
nice.
look good, Brenda.
These are spalted red elm.
Whoa.
Ooh,
And I had no idea the spalding was there when I started them. I seen
nice
that.
surprise.
Oh yeah, I like that. Yeah,
Yeah, looks
Keep my
nice.
eye on my red elm in the front yard.
yeah, beautiful. So I made 5 sets of them and I'm done. Ready for something else.
I was just gonna goof with you. So you made the 10 like you wanted to make?
Yeah, I knew you was gonna make. I knew you were gonna mention that. Yes, I did. Al, there's 10
You
of
know,
them.
that's good. That's
5
great.
pair. 10. I
That-
made
that
10.
is. No, I'm happy. I am. No, okay. I was gonna goof around and say, I was gonna say, is that 9 and 10?
This is 9 and number
But I'm
10.
glad you said that. That's good.
Yes, but now
That's
that
good. You
chuck
pushed yourself.
that
You
Matt
pushed
showed
yourself.
would have been easier to make. You know, I mean, that would have worked, right? To hold these to finish the top.
Yep.
Yeah. Now you tell
Well, you
me.
figured that out. That's good.
Well, I ain't making no more. I'm done. That's all I got.
Oh,
Thanks,
Did
Brenda.
you see?
Well done, Brenda.
Really?
Yeah, next up is Jeff.
Hi, everybody.
Hey,
Well,
Jeff.
As I said earlier, I
Yeah.
haven't been able to get into the shop since last week's meeting. So I pulled something off the shelf in October of 2021. The Detroit Area Woodturners was in a gallery exhibit at Starkweather Gallery in Romeo, Michigan. And I had a bowl that won, and I had another piece in there that didn't, and it's been sitting on the shelf, and that's this.
Ooh,
It's a cherry burl box, and I got the cherry burl from a member of ours in the upper part of Michigan. And
Hey.
thank you. Since then, it's warped or moved, and so the lid, I can't put the lid on all the way now. But what we've decided to do with it is I'm going to fix the lid so it goes on, and then it's going to become an urn for my my little dog that we lost in 2022. He
okay.
passed away.
Okay.
So he's setting up in my son's room in a box, and I'm going to make this into an urn for him.
Nice.
So if it's sitting
There
on the
light-
shelf, beg your
Is there
pardon?
light showing? Is there light showing through on the bottom of that?
Shouldn't be. Here, let me pull the top off and
When
see,
you-
because
when you open- when
oh, you know
opened
what?
it
You
up,
probably
like
saw a
there's light.
reflection because
There's
what I
envelope.
did because it was a burl, I put red resin in the bottom
Okay, yep, there you
to
go.
seal it up. So
Oh, okay.
Right, good job.
that's what it is. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was very pleased with this. I had another big piece that I turned into a big vase that is now sitting down in Mesquite, Texas, in a lady's display. So, but this is my one item I had to show today.
Beautiful.
Nice.
How
Thanks,
thick is-
Jeff.
how thick is the
Thank
top of that?
This part here,
Yeah, the lid. Oh yeah.
it's
you got-
about 5 inches across.
Yeah. You know what I did on the top of my dog's urn is I bought at Hobby Lobby, they have little plastic coin boxes or whatever, they're round. You
Mhm.
open it up, you can put a coin in them, open it up, put my dog's picture in it, and then glue that to the top of the urn.
Oh, okay.
I like that idea.
Well, we're talking with this. We're also going to put in his collar and dog tags with him,
Mm,
and then the top is going to get glued on. It'll be permanently sealed.
yeah.
You're gonna get it engraved.
Bigger pardon?
You get it engraved with the dog's name and all that.
I don't know. I thought about, because my original concept of making pet urns was I was going to have a spot on top for a round brass plate that could be engraved, and I may still do that with this. We have an engraver right down the street from me. I have a Ortier laser engraver, but I'm not sure in this dark material if it would engrave really well. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
It will.
One of the things you can do, Jeff, engraving dark wood, is you can fill it with the white liming wax. That looks really nice.
oh, I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll see if I can. I've got an example of that somewhere floating around, but it looks really nice.
That's a
The
great
white
idea.
letters
And
against the
also-
dark wood.
You can also fill it after you get the top sealed.
Uh-huh.
You can also fill it with white acrylic paint and then wipe off the excess.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So I would have to make sure I got some depth on the lettering.
Yeah,
It doesn't take much. You just
no, not
you know,
much. Just a decent little burn, less than a 1/16 of an inch is fine.
Okay. Okay, I'll play around with that idea. I've got some walnut downstairs that I can use to experiment with.
Okay.
That's it for me this
All right.
week.
Very
Great.
good.
Next-
Let's do one more gallery and then we'll do our safety.
All right. Next up is Patrick Hoggard from North Carolina.
Hey, Pat.
Good evening, everybody. I got this little black walnut box,
Yeah.
done texturing on the top, and this is engraved and then inlaid with gold paint. And it's taken about 2 weeks because when I started doing the engraving for this, my flex shaft broke.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
no.
So
Hmm.
I trashed that and ordered a micro motor. And I like that a whole lot better.
Yeah, those things are wonderful, man. You can't beat them.
That looks great.
I seen that on Facebook earlier. That was awesome.
Yeah, right.
It's beautiful, man. I
That
like
is beautiful.
Got
I like-
a inset top.
That's so elegant,
nice.
very elegant looking.
That's
Well
really
done,
nice.
Pat.
Very
Pat.
elegant. That's
What's
Thank you.
what's your engravings? Does it have any particular meaning, or is it just something you just thought up?
It's just something I found a template for and went with it. It's no special meaning or anything.
What
Looks
kind
nice.
of wood have you got?
What?
What kind of wood?
It's black walnut and it's been ebonized. And then
Beautiful.
it's got 3 coats of tongue oil finish on it. And then I cut that back with abrasive paste because I didn't really want a glass-like shine.
Hmm.
Look kind of antique-y.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Looks a little bit Chinese.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very
That's
nice.
beautiful.
Well done.
Thank you.
Real nice. Thank you. You guys are good job.
Thank you. That's all I got.
All right. Thank you, Patrick. All right. Let's go to Safety Sue and see what we got for our safety moment.
Hi, guys.
Hello, hello.
I have to make a disappointing announcement. Normally, I research all the stuff before I bring it on, and I was so busy this week and we were getting ready for this big blow that's coming our way. That I didn't really research anything, but I can tell you that we all get cut all the time in our shops. And today, and I was really surprised, I pulled off a sheet of foil and sliced my finger wide open. So folks, be careful with anything that you're handling with your hands. God knows that the kitchen would attack me. So just be careful this week. For those folks that are in the Gulf Coast, please be safe. It looks like it's heading towards Tallahassee. So just be safe this week and take care, everybody. I'll see you next week, and I promise I'll be better next week.
Oh, no worries, Sue.
Nice
Needed
to
to be
meet
short
you,
and sweet anyhow.
There you go.
All right. Well, let's we span over to England here. We've got Mr. Clarkson in for our demonstration tonight. It's going to be Martin's demo. Any questions and comments? Questions and comments you can put into the chat verbally. Let's hold them till the end of the demonstration, unless Martin wants to solicit participation from us folks. With that, Martin, I am going to mute everybody, and you'll need to unmute yourself. So we'll be doing that now. Yes. And I hear you.
Got the unmute. Smashing. I'm happy for any comments. You'll just have to relay them for me, Dane, because I have got a phone in front of me, so I might be able to keep up with some of the chat. Thank you for having me again. I've been roped in again this weekend. It's always very late here in England for a demonstration, but we'll do what we can. Most of you guys know me. I am what I would class as a simple turner. It's very rare that I use colours and that kind of thing. Because I make a living from turning, the items that I turn, I work on the assumption. I make what I sell what I make. If it doesn't sell, I don't make it. If it sells, I make lots of it. So a lot of my stuff, some people would say you're a production turner. I'm not really a production turner, because a production turner people bring to you and you make what they want you to make. I tend to do my own design. I put it to market, see what happens. If it doesn't sell, I never make it again. And if it does sell well, then I put lots out. Normally very, very simple things. One of my best sellers is the cartridge key rings. This time of year, it goes absolutely mad because it is shooting season. So I have actually spent more time in my lathe this week than what I've done probably in the last 2 months, just doing cartridge key rings. And you reach a point where you think, oh my God, is there any more that you need to do? Last week, I give you a show that I'd done a demo, and I made one of the table decorations of the lady that holds the napkins. A couple of you have been in touch with me asking me sizes, dimensions, how did I do this, how did I do that? So when Dane asked me earlier on, would I do a demo this week, I thought this will make a decent demo for you. The reason I think it'll make a decent demo is because you've got various component parts, and when you're turning various component parts, the component parts need to go together correctly, and they need to be straight. So hopefully I won't bore the life out of too many of you, but we will turn one of them this evening. It should take me normally about 15 minutes to complete. When I did one earlier today, it took me nearly 40. But it's always more difficult turning just one because you're not prepared. And I also want to show you a couple of different ways that I would mount things on my lathe. First thing we'll do is we will go through the timber. Whenever I approach my lathe, I know what I'm going to make. So all of my blanks are pre-cut. If I am designing something, I scribble on a bit of paper what sizes I've used. Then if it's not right, I can break the sizes down and reduce them where necessary. So for this particular item, we need 4 lots of different size timber. This one, and I've done it all in millimeters because for some daft reason, I thought that you guys were in millimeters, but you're not. You're the same as I am, and that's pretty much in inches. So in inches, this piece is 2 by 2 by 2. It's pretty much a cube. It looks a little bit longer because I've missed it on the saw, and it doesn't matter to me that much. So this particular one is 2 by 2 by 2. This one is 5 inches long and roughly 2 inches square again. This one is only 3/4 of an inch thick and it's 3 inches square. And this one is the base one. It is also 3 inches square and is 1 3/4 inches thick. You can make this 2 inch thick if it's easier for you. I would not drop it down to inch. It wants to be at least 1 3/4 inches. So we'll start at the bottom of the actual piece, which is this piece. Now, if you've got a drill press, you can drill a hole. Let me just alter my camera so that I can see what you're seeing. Otherwise, I'll be holding bits of wood up and they won't be in front of the camera.
Oh, you look good.
If I can find myself,
fine.
Right. On this particular piece, if you've got a drill press, you can drill a hole in the middle of the piece. The reason I haven't done that is because lots of people don't have drill presses and you would use a hand drill. It is vitally important that this is dead straight. So with a drill press, you know that you're going to get in dead straight. If you haven't got a drill press, don't try and do it with a hand drill, because what you will find is that the piece itself will end up sitting like this. That hole at that bottom needs to be dead straight so that when you put that cane in, it sits directly upright. So because I haven't drill pressed it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop it up, just pop it up against my chuck jaws. If I had used a drill press and I had drilled a hole in, I could have used the normal traditional screw chuck and just popped that into the hole and put that into the chuck, which is obviously the way you guys might do it. For me, because I'm in my lathe room, I haven't pre-drilled it. So I'm going to open my jaws on my chuck and I'm just going to pop it in and bring up my tailstock somewhere near the middle. And I'm only saying somewhere near the middle because I want to get the best out of the blank. So I'm not going to ram the tailstock into it. I'm just going to give it a little bit of pressure. And then I'm going to put my pencil on the outside edge. And I'm going to turn around and you can see that this pencil mark is a long way off this side. So I know that by releasing and coming just across a little bit, I can now bring my tailstock up and I should be pretty much central on that blank. So I've now got the best out. I've now got the best out of that blank, and I'm going to tighten my tailstock up. Dane, am I on the camera for me, or am I on the camera on the lathe now?
Yeah, I'm gonna remove your cell phone one and put it strictly for the lathe. So we're just on the lathe now.
You're just on the lathe camera now.
Yeah.
I should be able to see what I'm doing now.
Yeah, I guess the folks that are on their cell phones, they can only see the cell phone. So
I'll just do that again then. All as I've done is I have just brought the tailstock up and I've just put a pencil on the edge and I've turned it so that I hit all 4 sides. That now tells me I'm in the center of that blank. And I've now got the best out of the piece of wood. What I now want to create is a chucking point. I'm going to make sure the speed's down on the lathe and I'm going to put my glasses on. I always wear glasses. Now, if you guys wear face shields, not a problem at all. I always wear my glasses. When you're turning between centres, you've got less risk of it coming off the lathe. I do have a risk of it coming away from here if I start working this outside edge. I will only be working this, which will be putting the pressure forward. So we will start the lathe up. And all I want to do is create a chucking point. So I haven't used a lot of pressure. All I've done there is just created a chucking point on the back. And I'm now going to reverse it and pop it into that chuck. We know the best of the blank is being used because we lined it up and squared it up first. Okay. Well, now I can start and look to drill the centre hole. Now, when you're drilling, try and keep your lathe down to a slow speed. And we're just going to pop a hole in the centre there. And we now know that that centre hole is very straight in that blank because it can't not be. Pop that down there, out of my way. Remove that. That back on its shelf.
Martin, what size hole did you drill and how deep did you drill it?
Right, the hole that I've drilled, depth-wise, is about 1 inch. And the hole that I've drilled in is 9 millimeters. And the reason it's 9 millimeters is because I bought the cane from the DIY shop at 9 millimeters. So whatever cane you're going to be using, make sure that that it's the right size for that. As it happens, my screw chuck, if I used my screw chuck, also is 9 millimeters. So that's what I was saying. You can pre-drill this hole and then fasten it on the other way, but for me, it's easier to turn it. So now what I'm going to do is we've got we've got our chuck size. I want to know how big my chuck is, and I want to mark it roughly where it is. So I've just marked where my chuck is at the top there. I'm going to bring up my tailstock for support because there's no reason not to have your tailstock on as support when you're turning until you want to turn this off. So we'll get the speed up a little bit now. Okay. What I've done here is I've turned it down to nearly my chucking point. And the reason I'm turning it down to my chucking point is because when I reverse it, it'll give me somewhere to get a hold of the top. I always work on how I'm going to hold it next time round. So we'll go in. And there's my chucking point created at the top. And now I can start shaping the base. So on your base, you can pretty much do whatever shape you want. The one that I've just turned is this one. But you can also see that sometimes I'll put a different base on them. You can design whatever base you want. What you're looking for is this 3-inch. I find that the 3-inch stands up a lot better. Okay, now we're going to look to turn out this centerpiece. And we're just going to use, when I first started doing these, I used to take a huge amount out of these bases. There is no need. It is just for a napkin to sit in. So all we want to create is a groove. We just want to create a groove for the napkin to sit in. There's no need to go much further than that. We will tidy that off at the front. Okay, at that point, the whole thing would get sanded. If you're going to sand it, the way I finish everything is I would put a sand and sealer on there now. I would not sand it prior to a sand and sealer. I would put sand and sealer on there, let it dry, and then sand it off. The reason for me doing that is I get a decent finish off my tool. So I cut out one of the sanding processes. Chuck key. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn that around now and drop it into the jaws on that chucking point at the top. And finish the bottom as you would. All I've done is put a bit of a concave in here to make sure that it sits flat on the bench. I have, as you can see, probably little bit controversial, but I have left a chucking point on the base of these. The reason I have left a chucking point on is because I guarantee everything when I sell it. It'll also allow me to turn it back round, turn it off, clean it off, polish it off, add my finish to it. But because I guarantee everything when I sell it, if somebody did happen to break this, I can replace it very easily. You know, if they break a chunk off the side of it or something like that, I might be able to fix it back up. But that's up to them. For me, I like to try and leave somewhere to get a hold of it. So that piece now is complete. It would just get sanded and finished. I tend to lacquer everything. So sand and sealer and then a lacquer. And now we're going to move on. We'll move on to the second piece now. This is the 75mm square. There's two ways that this can be done. The easiest way that I've found, and the safest way, you could make bandsaw cuts in this while it's square. What I've found is if you bandsaw cut this when it's square, it leaves little tiny pieces that can be snapped off while you're turning them. So I didn't have very much of a success rate with this. So I prefer to do it the way I'm going to show you. Again, we need a hole in this, and we need a hole all the way through it. And that hole that you're going to put in there needs to be straight and square. So what we're going to do is we are going to do exactly the same as I did earlier on. Just bring light tailstock up, get my pencil, which brings me to this pencil actually. If you all want to spend some money, buy one of these. It clips onto your belt and you never lose your pencil. They are brilliant. Okay, we're off on that. Now we can bring a bit more pressure in because I know that we will be somewhere near on there, on there. We've almost got the right size. We could just come across just a touch. Is that somebody with a question or is that just noise in the background?
Oh, it's my noise in the background. Apologies.
That's all right.
Run in and grab some peanuts.
Same again. We're just going to create a chucking point. Once we've got our chucking point created, we can turn it around and get it into the chuck. That's it, we're now central. And we're back to drilling exactly the same as we did with the base. Is everybody still awake, Dane?
Everybody's doing good except for the normal sleepers.
So a hole straight through the middle of this one. And again, you could pre-drill that. If you want to drill it, if you've got your pillar drill, pre-drill it, and you'll save yourself a little bit of time. You could put it onto your screw chuck. Okay. With this one, same again, what we're going to do is we're going to create a chucking point where your chuck is. I think that's about there. And a flat. So we're just going to put a little curve in there. Come on, Leo, catch up. And reverse it. Right, the chucking point on this side, I am going to leave, but I'm going to tidy up a little bit. So your top part now, you've created a chucking point on both sides, so you can mount it back in the lathe whichever way you want. If you are correct on size with these two, it gives you a line to feed to. So I have found, I will be totally honest here with you, I have found that if I take a ruler and I start marking lines with my ruler exactly where I want them, so where's my little ruler? There's my little ruler. So I go here, across the middle, here, and then across the middle again, for example. And I mark out each section very, very carefully. I can then take it to my bandsaw and I can bandsaw down the lines, stopping at the chucking point. And it means that you've got a stopping point to work to. Now, if you take your ruler and you measure it out very, very carefully, you will find that as you're cutting with a bandsaw, you will start to think, well, that gap's a bit bigger than that gap. So I no longer measure or mark it. I literally just draw some lines on it. And you can see on this one, I was very, very careful with measuring and marking it, and I still missed my lines. So there is no rocket science. There's two of them done here. They're both different. So just mark them out. Don't put too many in. Don't try to put 12 napkins in. Go for 6, go for 8, go for 10. But if you start putting too many lines in, you'll find that you get lost. And also around here becomes a weak point. You'll end up snapping these off. So if you go across and then across again, then just try and put a line in between each section. It'll work out a bit easier for you. Obviously, I'm not going to run off to my bandsaw with this. I'm just going to use this one for the project.
Call it a Blue Peter, Martin.
That's right. Otherwise, I'd be disappearing for 5 minutes to get to my bandsaw. So we will get rid of the chuck. And we will now go for the main body. So it's dropped between centers. Oops, that's my ruler in the shavings. And what we're going to do is we are going to try and get exactly, again, the best out of this blank. So I'll just bring my tailstock up. I'll bring my tool rest in, drop my tool rest down. Because I haven't marked centers, I am just going to have a quick check on the edges just to see where we are. And that's really not far off. So we're there or thereabouts at both ends. And now I can lock it into place and make sure everything's secure. Okay, what we're looking for on this is we are looking for a lady type shape. So you decide which end is which. The bottom needs to be less than our chucking point. So this end, if this is the bottom end, it needs to be less than the chucking point, because if it's too big, it sits outside of this chucking point and it looks ridiculous. So rough and gouge. Where have I put it? Over here. And we can start creating a shape. We'll let the lathe get up to speed. we know we have a head. Okay, I just want to say a little bit. I'm just quickly going to mention the roughing gouge. The roughing gouge, lots of people think it is just to take the corners off a piece of timber, then we change onto whatever gouge you want. This is a spindle roughing gouge. For me, it's to rough out the shape. So as you can see, I have literally created what I want to follow there. The same as an artist would take a sketch with his pencil, he would sketch a picture and then he would start adding detail. He would not change one pencil for another pencil and back to another pencil. He would just sketch and then start adding texture or colour. What we're going to do now, we've roughed it out. I can see what shape I'm trying to create. We know that we need a head and a neck. Created.
Look at that.
So there is nothing complicated about creating that shape. The only difference is with this shape is this flowing part and making sure that this is small enough to fit the chucking point that you've created on this end. So just make sure that you get it down as far as you can to get underneath that chucking point. Otherwise, if it's too big, it will look odd. You can make it exactly the same size and you could glue this onto the bottom if you wanted to do that. I don't. What I normally do is I pre-drill this. For the demonstration purposes, there was no point in showing you how I would have put the square blank into the chuck and pre-drilled it, or pre-drilled it using my drill press. So ultimately, I've got a center there. I can now just drill a hole in the bottom of here on my drill press. You can do it whichever way you prefer. The other option would have been for me to have even bored you even further, but put the square blank into the chuck first and just drilled the hole in. Now, unfortunately, I am going to have to bore you a little bit because we need to create a slice on the top of the head, because I find that by sitting the hats at an angle, it makes a completely different lady than sitting them directly on the head. One of the things that I did say at a demonstration was you could do snowmen, and a lot of people do snowmen with the hats flat on their head. But if you angle the hat on the top of the snowman's head, it makes a very different snowman. But certainly these would be very popular Christmas time as snowmen, I would think, for the center of the tables.
Yep, tilted hat adds a lot of character.
Yeah, so for me, I always angle the hat. Now, if you've got a bandsaw that you're normally pushing 2-inch timbers through and it has great big teeth, do not try and take something like this to your bandsaw and put it on your bandsaw, because what will happen is it will instantly flip or it'll twist, and you will end up in a mess. So don't ever put anything like this up against your bandsaw. I have a very different bandsaw. I have a very, very thin blade on my bandsaw, because most of the stuff that goes through my bandsaw is stuff like this, where I can just take a slice off the head. The safest way for me to do it, and the better way for me to do it tonight to show you, is to use my sanding pad, just an old block of timber with a groove cut out of it. The reason it's got a groove cut out of it is so that it can fit both lots of jaws that I have. Bit of Velcro and a sanding pad. And it now just means that I can fit that to whatever jaws I've got. If I can't get it on the inside, I can get it on the outside, because you're not putting a lot of pressure on it. So even though your jaws are quite wide on this particular one, they've got the small jaws on.
Martin, do you have foam or Martin, is that all wood, or do you have foam between the sandpaper and the?
All wood.
Thank you.
It's all wood, and this is just a Velcro pad. No, there's no foam or anything in there. It is purely so that I can put on as much as I want. Now, if you're going to sand like this, you're better off turning your lathe down, because you will burn this wood. As it happens, the adjuster on my lathe decided to fall out a little bit today, and I fell out with it. And I'm just going to literally keep moving it so that it doesn't burn. And I have got about an 80 grit sandpaper on there.
Turning her into a flathead.
And you need to sand it off. You need to sand it off so that there's no flat at the front of the head. And that is really the only imperfection that fits on it. I haven't put mine on because it just makes so much noise. And during the day, I actually have my door open. But on here, you just don't want a flat on the top. Right, we can get rid of that because we don't need to do any more of that. We do need to now work on the hat. Now, the hat can be done in many different ways. I often just do the hat between centers, because I can get quite close and I can sand a bit of a flat on the base and the top. So I think we'll go between centers because it'll be easier to understand. Just pop that aside. Get that out of the way. Where have I just put that center? There it is. Are they all still awake, Dane?
Yeah, they're all doing good except for the normal sleepers.
Oh, that's all right. I
Really
don't
good
mind a
demo
few.
so far.
I don't mind a few.
Everybody is enthralled.
Is that Brenda keeping up?
Oh my God, she's right. She's got her pencil going. She doesn't realize it's being recorded.
Okay, again, all as I've done is I've just dropped that between centers. I'm just having a look to see how far out I am when I've put it on the lathe, and I'm really not that far out, so we're going to go with that. Now then, the hat. The hat is fairly easy. I'll have a bit of speed up. Okay, you will have noticed that what I did is I've gone in here just to flatten this end. I don't want a concave in this end, and the reason I don't want a concave is because we've got a flap on the top of the head that we've created. So this wants to be flat so that you've got plenty of surface area for your glue. Don't follow the old rule of thumb of creating a concave so that it sits on the timber. Try and keep it as flat as you possibly can. We're coming round the corner. Don't make this bead too thin. If you make this bead too thin and your customer knocks it over, this is going to break. So for all delicate is nice, we just need to leave a bit of weight in that hat, because if it is too thick, if it's too thin, it will break off. So we're just going to decide where we are with that, and I will put a little bit of a slope in. This is a bit too big down. I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether the volume on my camera would pick that up. But what you will have heard, or what I certainly heard, was my lathe tone change. As I got thinner and thinner and thinner, the lathe tone changes, and that tells me to start slowing down or stopping, because obviously this is going to part off. So all I'm going to do now is, while I've still got a hold of it here, I can sand that up. No, you probably didn't, Billy. What I would suggest to any of you, you will notice when I'm going in here, I am making sure that I'm getting rid of all of the waste. I don't want any waste, because that's where you will create a catch. So get rid of your waste and then work on your item. And as I come in here with a skew, I am getting lower and lower, and the lathe tone changes. So I urge you to go in your workshop, take a spindle, put it between centers, work down it, and listen for your lathe tone to change, and it'll tell you you've gone far enough. Much more, and you're going to break it off. So I can undo that now, and I can take that away, and there she goes. And that just now leaves me a tiny little flat that I can just sand on my sander. Because I created a flat on the bottom of this, I've now got enough coverage to be able to glue the hat onto the head.
Nice.
So I don't need to peg it. To put a peg in here and to put a peg in here is very, very difficult. But I have got enough surface area on the two items to be able to put a good contact to glue and stick the glue together. And that is exactly what we've done on this one. It is just a matter of a little glue, dab of glue on the top, rub the two joints together, and you can see where I've flattened it off on the top of the hat there. I'll take this one apart. I never glue anything together. I never finish anything until I'm ready to finish it, and I know that the item looks correct. Although this one's very tight.
All that moisture.
That is exactly what's stopping that now. There's no glue on there. But that is what will have done that. The moisture in the workshop will have swelled this piece of spindle dowel that goes through the middle. So that one won't come off, but we'll have a go with this one. Yeah, that one's a bit easier. I make two different sizes. I'll give you a measurement on these, but honestly, depending on how far you've drilled into the base and how far you've drilled into the top will determine the length of your dowels. But to give you an idea, that is 9" on that one and 6" on this one. So I wouldn't cut these until you start putting it all together, because when you put it together, you will know how far the dowel actually fits into the base and how far the dowel actually fits into the top. And that then will be able to determine your thread sizes or your spindle sizes. Has anybody got any questions? Or is everybody?
No, everybody's enthralled. You've been covering everything very well.
I got a question.
Go on.
What's the distance between the base and the top of the?
Right. That depends basically on what napkins you buy.
Okay.
The ones here in the UK where you get a normal packet of napkins, these I would think are about
5.5.
Yeah, these are just over 6". They're 160 millimeters. And basically the reason why I do the two sizes is because this one I only fold once in half, and then it sits from top to bottom on the larger one. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
With these ones, I have slightly wider holes where I've cut them out on the bandsaw. And what you do is you take the same paper napkin, but you fold it twice. So that's your half napkin for that one. Let me just lift that camera up a touch. That is your half napkin for that one. Fold it over in again, and that now is the 4-fold napkin that will go into that one.
Oh,
Oops.
cool.
So that's why I do the 2 different sizes. But you should get a standard napkin. You'll find over there, I would think, will be a standard size. You get them often in different plies. You get 2-ply or 3-ply.
Yeah. So it
So
really don't
hopefully
matter
that's-
how far above the middle thing that the napkin is sticking up.
Well,
long
as a lady, you should know that this is kind of your waist.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that that's where your skirt wants to start.
Okay.
I don't wear skirts very often, but if I was wearing a skirt, it would start there.
Gotcha.
Martin's not Scottish.
Hey, Martin, it's Doug Rowe over here. Did you need me to chime in and help you with the whole skirt thing, or are you good?
Yeah, I saw you lurking back here, Doug.
Yeah. We'll bring you one at the level up.
Yeah, super job.
You know what,
Well,
Martin, you know what? I see so many young couples starting out and they're going shopping, and I could see that just flying right off the shelf.
These always sold really well, and like I said, it was.
I could see.
What I did is I saw the design originally. The original design of this I saw at a market, but it was an umbrella. And what they'd done is they'd turned just the umbrella handle part and put that on the top of the cane. So there was a base, a cane, and an umbrella top. And then the napkins kind of created the umbrella. And I really liked it. I thought, I like that idea. And I come away and I created the ladies because I felt that the ladies might just sell better than the brollies. And again, it's something different to the market. So that's why I created the ladies. I always say you get inspiration from other people. And I've already said, snowmen, I think, would sell really well at Christmas time on them as table centers.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But this idea you have right now, I'm sure you're having a good time.
I would imagine pumpkins. Certainly for Halloween and that sort of thing, for just people in general. If you can come up with an idea, the design is exactly the same.
Yeah. You do angels.
You could do angels, you could do carol singers, you could do whatever you wanted to do. All as I tried to do is inspire you to go into your workshops.
Which?
Right.
Witches.
It's gonna look good next to my salt shakers.
Yeah.
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 It's unlimited what you can do.
Hopefully it's inspired a few of you.
Oh, I'm sure it has. I know
it's
reinvigorated me on it again. There's been, you break out your skew, and then, those that were sleeping the last time you demoed, now they're seeing your skew for the first time. So there's questions about your skew. Can you go through it and explain it to them? And
I always get questions about my skew. My skew is nothing complicated. It is basically a round bar skew. I buy it from Ashley Isles. I buy it off the shelf. The only thing I ask him to do is to grind it for me. He grinds it off. You could probably grind it yourself. I can't be bothered at the grindstone, so he grinds it to this angle for me. If anybody in the UK buys it, they ring Ashley Isles and they just tell him that they want a Clarkson grind on the end of the skew, because there is only me that uses a skew that is basically the angle at the top of the skew is 45, roughly 45 degrees. So you've got 45 at the top, you've got 45 down each side. So it's 45, 45, 45. To give you an idea. It's a very, very different way of using a skew. Let me just grab a little piece.
That's how mommy.
Okay, you know what? I'm sorry. What's wrong? I am a professional. I studied chiropractic for 3 years.
It's not quite as hard as that. Let's go with this because it's the only bit of wood that I've got to hand.
It's about a ½ inch, Leonard.
We will have 2 minutes on it, Dane.
You'll have to switch your camera, Martin.
I can't.
Rotate your.
Dane will.
Yeah. No,
Dane will
switch
get
your.
me in a second.
Rotate your. No, tilt your camera down.
There
we
you
go.
That's a bit better.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, all I've done is I've just dropped a block of wood into the center there. I'm just checking it against my tool rest to make sure that I'm somewhere near. I'm a little bit off at this end. This is the worst piece of wood that I could have probably picked because there is a huge great knot here. So we will put glasses on and we'll get the rough and gouge out.
John, I hope you're on and looking at this.
I can feel that knot every time I hit it. Okay. So the difference with my skew is it will allow me to trim up the end. So I've got point contact on both sides. I will now decide where the center of that is. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a look and see if we can get something that's somewhere near round. So I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to look.
Yeah, everyone do notice how we're cutting uphill. It can be done. You're muted, Martin, unless you're not talking.
I'm not talking, I am now. You will notice the difference on this skew is I make point contact most of the time. So whereas with a traditional skew, everybody teaches you that you should not use either of the points. That's incorrect because as you come round a corner, you really need point contact to be able to come round of that corner and down into it. And the same with this side. If I don't make contact with that point, as I come round that corner, it wants to throw the skew away. So you've got to have the point contact. You see, instantly, as soon as that point at the bottom loses its traction against that cut, you're going to lose it. The same when I come up over. I make point contact and I can turn round, down and in. Now, some people say what you're doing is you're scraping. You are not getting shavings like this if you're scraping. If you're scraping, you're getting dust. So this is not scraping, it is cutting. But it is cutting uphill because I've made the point contact. And I personally, I find it easier to come round that corner that way than to take that skew round that corner that way. So you're not only using the skew backwards, you're using it upside down. Is everybody still awake?
Yeah, we're listening.
Hey, Martin, you're
We're
just about ready
fascinated.
to knock your skew on the ground.
You're roughing gouge on your.
You're roughing gouge.
Because it's,
there you go.
It's underneath. It wants to go on the shelf. Don't ever leave tools on your bed bar, says he.
Right.
We got somebody else, Martin, who'd like to see the other tools you used, including the scraper.
Yeah, well, I use the skew. I use today I've used parting tool, and I've used spindle gouge. But this one was actually quite big for the for the demo. Really, I struggled when I was getting in with that smaller one, but I couldn't be bothered to change tools over. And really, it was not necessary. Most of what I do is rough and gouge and skew. So it's very rare that I actually change my tools. I'm a big believer in, if you use the same tool over and over again, you will get a lot more prolific with that tool. How many of you have tools that are on the shelf that you've used once or twice and then put down because you don't feel like they're doing what you want them to do? You know, I don't want to say because you can't use them. I want to say because they're not doing what you want them to do. Whereas if you pick them tools up and you force yourself to use them tools, you will find they will become your friend. You know, when I first started using a skew, I always say this: when you get a new skew or any new tool, there's no instructions with it. For some reason, they sell these tools with no instructions. And really, if you just practice and you become prolific with that tool, you will find that it will be your go-to tool all the time. Whether that be a skew, whether it be a spindle gouge, whatever it is, just keep practicing.
Right.
Make yourself use it. Yes, literally get it off the shelf, make yourself use it. If you get a catch with a skew, or you get a catch with one of your spindle gouges, ball gouges, understand why you got that catch. And if you can understand why you got that catch, you can then correct it next time. And most of the time you will see, even on a piece of wood like this, I get rid of the waste. Don't have anything in your way. If you run a tool into a wall, you're going to get a catch. So like here, get rid of these outside edges before you start turning this ball or the spear or whatever shape you're creating. Get rid of anything that is in your way so that you can't hit it. Because as you come round a corner, if I come round that corner with this skew and I get down there and this is there, I'm going to trap that skew in, and it will always want to throw it out. And that's when you're getting your catches. As you're coming round that corner, it will go in, and you'll either bite because you've got too much of a tool, or it will throw it back out because it wants to throw it back out. The same as when you attack a bevel on the side of a bowl. It always wants to throw it out, and that's why we destroy the outside edges of a bowl. You know, when you're going to make that last cut, and you just come onto the edge and you miss that bevel, and it wants to throw it back out, and you come across the bowl. It's because that tool does not want to go the way that you're wanting it to go. It instantly wants to throw it back out. So try not to trap your tools, and make sure you've got rid of any waste that you don't need. 45,
Martin.
45, 45.
45. I got a question about your collets on your tool handles there. Those things look really neat. They're different.
Yeah, they're mine.
Can you tell us about them?
I can, if I'm allowed to do a bit of a sales talk. These are something that I designed.
I'm just inquiring about the collets.
These are a design that I designed, and I haven't got one in my hand, but you will have seen something like this on the market. I always used the Simon Hope tool, the Simon Hope handles. So I always buy unhandled tools. And the Simon Hope handle served my purpose for a long time. But it's here. For anybody that can see this, it is now covered in lacquer, and it's really not very nice to hold. So I decided one day that I would try and make a wooden handle to fit this. But unfortunately, this is nearly 1.5 inches thick, and the handle ended up at nearly 2 inches thick, and it was awful to hold. So I come up with a design. There is others on the market, but the others on the market are a sleeve. So basically, you've got a tube that runs into your wooden handle and a metal bit that sits at the top of the handle. Well, I thought that was quite dangerous. So I designed this. And it is a ferrule. So it is a ferrule that sits on the outside of the wood, and drops onto the timber and creates a ferrule. And it also has a sleeve that goes in. So on the end of my tools, these are not glued. They are literally turned like a ferrule would be, where you would tap it on, and then it has a tube down the center. And I've had them made for me. But I've got sleeves now that fit my different tool sizes. So the standard inch, 1/2 inch, and 1/4 inch. And this one I've had specially made for me, which holds I don't know what you guys call it, but it's very small. It's a little swan neck tool that I had made. There it is. This is a tiny little, there it is. It has 3 bevels. The one on the top.
Point tool.
That is concave. Yeah, it's a little point tool. This bevel on the top is concave. This bevel is concaved, and this bevel is also concaved. And I just had that made to fit that, because I had that tool made at Ashley Isles for me. So that also drops into my collets for that. Oops.
Martin, if you want me to show them one unhandled, I have one unhandled.
If you've got one unhandled, that would be very nice, because you'd be able to understand. These are very different to what's on the market. The ones that are on the market.
I'll show it. You talk about it.
The ones that are on the market are sleeves. And the problem with a sleeve is it's only got a center part. So you really need to glue the top in somehow. Obviously, in your workshops, wood as you've seen on that thing that I've made, wood swells and contracts. So you get a lot of movement. We don't think we get a lot of movement, but we get a lot of movement in timber. And as it swells, it would come away from that collar, and that collar would just slide out. So it needs to be glued in. With my design, as that wood swells, it pushes onto the outside of the collar, stopping it splitting. And as it shrinks in the dry heat, it grabs hold of that centerpiece. So at no point should any of my ferrules come away. They will just stay put, because if they're not squeezed in the center, they are forced on the outside edges. And that's the design that I did for them. And as you can see, it just allows me to make up. I have a little short stumpy handle, which allows me to work over my lathe bed very, very easily. I've then got a next size up, and then I've got the long one, which is this one.
So I'm showing it to him, Martin, the actual ferrule.
So as you can see that when you make the handle needs to be cut so that it holds the ferrule rather than just flat. Hopefully that's answered any questions, Dane.
Cool.
Yeah, I think so. Thank you. Thank you both on that.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much,
Very
guys.
slick. All right, folks. Anybody else have any questions or comments for Martin on his demo tonight? Or
Great demo.
Great demo, Martin.
Thank you.
Great demo, Martin.
Any other tooling questions
done.
anyone would have?
Martin, do you still have that Hungarian or Bulgarian skew that you used to have?
I've only got, I will have a big one. Yeah. That's where the idea come from for my skew. That is the Hungarian standard one, which is the Russian knife. And that is the baby one.
Huh.
These are hand forged in Hungary. Do you need one? No, you don't. Like I said, I got myself involved in these because they were a tool that I saw and I really liked the idea of being able to use. As a full-time turner, you need to inspire yourself. You know, when you're coming into the workshop and you're turning stuff to sell because you have to make them, the job almost becomes a job, and it almost becomes mundane. To buy something like this, it brings that spark back for me. You know, for anybody who's just a hobbyist turner, you don't need to go and buy something like this. You need to inspire yourself in what you're turning. But for a turner that's turning, you know, all the time, we also need something to keep us motivated on the lathe. And it was very different for me because I was able to come out on an evening time and have a play with one of these. And I found I found it very enjoyable. I've had these for 7 years now, and I still can't bloody use them.
I was going to ask you if you would do a quick.
No, I would not. But they do come.
Those come with about 1,000 catches, unlike our skew that only comes.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I always say that a standard skew comes with 300 catches. My round bar skew normally comes with about 50. These, you don't get a catch with these. They have a tendency of just cutting straight through the timber. It's not a catch, it just cuts it in half.
Wow.
So it's either there or it isn't. And you find that out very, very quickly. It's the same with the this one is great fun as well. This is the Russian hook tool. And the Russian hook tool I found very interesting because unlike any other hook tool on the market, these are ground both sides. So you have a cutting edge on both sides of this, which allows you to cut on the upward motion on the outside of the ball through to the middle, then change and cut on the downside. So you can actually go from that side of the ball all the way across and out the other side.
Yeah.
But again, that
would
takes
be-
a lot of practice because you're cutting on the up, so you're having to apply downward pressure all of the time till you get to the middle. Then your pressure, for all it is still downward, it's cutting down as well. So you're changing the tool handle and the holding of it. So again, it takes a lot of getting used to, but good fun.
Yes, it
Good
is.
fun, but you have got to persevere.
No, can you buy that on the market?
You can, I think. You do get them from various places, I think. What I tend to do is if anybody wants them, they normally let me know, can I have one of them, Martin? And then when I go over to Hungary, I go to the tool manufacturer in Hungary and he hammers them for me. He gets them ready and
I'm talking about the loop. Talk about the loop tool.
The hook tool, again, it's Hungarian. They're hand forged. So the standard hook tool, I would imagine you'd be able to get over there, no problem at all. But I've never ever seen anybody have a hook tool that is double edged.
That was my question. Right.
Yeah, I don't know if any other manufacturer that makes this is for the Russian and the European markets, and that's why I got very much involved with these hook tools. But they are hand forged. Matt, have you come across them double sharpened?
I have not. Yeah, but various and sundry people do. So the ones that the Japanese use are only on one side. So
yeah,
that would be a weird turning, but I could see it being very, very, very beneficial.
It's very efficient when you can use it.
You'd be able to look at it a completely different way, right?
Yes. I mean, like I say, I do get them, but I only get them. Normally what I do is I tend to make a list of people that want them, and then I'll get 10 while I'm in Hungary, or I'll get 20 while I'm over there. You could be waiting 6 months, you could be waiting a year and a half. It really does depend on when I get across to Hungary and to the supplier or the manufacturer of them, because they are hand forged. All right, guys, I'm gonna pass back.
That was
I'm staying on the hook tool.
Well, I'm going to pass back over to you, Dane, so that you can continue the evening, and let's see what you guys have been turning. Yeah,
Martin,
Thanks, Dane.
Martin,
Thanks,
very
Martin.
enjoyable. Very enjoyable evening, Martin. Very enjoyable.
Well, everybody.
Great demo. Thanks again, Martin.
Round of applause.
I hope I haven't bored all of you to bits.
Great demo.
No, never.
Good night.
Never, Martin. I always learn something from you.
Smashing.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. What a demo. So how many people are going to go make little napkin holders for giving out for Thanksgiving and Christmas this year?
Me.
Me? Yep. I see your hand up. I see Hampton's hand
I've been
up.
waiting to find out how to do these.
Right? Yeah, I think I'm going to be making a few myself.
I'll be grounding around skew tomorrow.
Well, it's about time. You've only had that bar since July.
Yeah, I know.
Well, at least you remember. At least you still got the bar, and now you know what you bought it for. So.
Yeah, now I just have to remember where I put it.
Oh no.
It was laying on my 2014 for a long time. And I moved it, and I don't remember where I moved it to. I'm sure I'll find it.
Yeah, I'm sure you will too. All right, well, let's get back to some gallery here. Matt, who we got up next?
Well, who we have up next is Larry Brown. So we're going to put him on and find out what he's got.
Good evening. I had a class a couple of weeks ago with Pat Carroll from Ireland on a lidded bowl, and this is what we come up with.
Ooh,
And
Very nice.
Very nice.
And the finial is walnut, and my wife did the painting and the finish on it.
Oh, nice.
And,
Very nice.
beautiful.
Collaboration.
First attempt at it, but it won't be my last.
All
That's
right.
pretty.
And
Very nice. Very nice.
I'd also like to tell Tom Kinney that I hope he's safe in the storm.
Yep. I
We
hope
have
so
a-
too, because he's closer to Tallahassee.
Yep.
Yeah, we're about 80 miles east of Tallahassee, so we'll get a lot of wind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just Tom, but Walt too.
Yeah.
And
yes.
and all those guys.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Okay.
it down here. I'm in Pinellas County. And we're just a lot
Tom
of
Kinney?
Pinellas County, Tampa Bay area.
Yeah,
Tom
you're gonna
Kinney's
get some
in-
wind and water too.
Yep, we are.
Yeah. But that's all I have.
All right. Thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks,
Who we got
Larry.
next,
Next up, Joaquin is up next.
You're muted, JJ.
Well, your lips are moving
Nope.
and we can't hear you.
I think that means 1 minute.
No, it means stop bickering at it.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. And the cracking.
Thought we lost you now.
We had you.
You gotta hold your finger up higher. It
Can't
was
hear a
working
thing,
when you had it
Joaquin.
about nose.
Can you hear me
when you
now?
had it at nose level. It
Yes.
worked.
Yes.
Heard you.
You're going in and out.
Just a second here. Why is this not working?
Now I hear you.
Well, we got you now.
I'm seeing my mic working.
We
Yep,
heard you.
we got the cracking too. You're good.
You're good.
Your microphone's
Check
just
1 2.
warm up.
Check 1 2.
We got you.
Yeah,
Three,
we hear you.
3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5.
Check 1 2.
Oh,
Yep.
You're
perfect.
We
good.
hear you.
Perfect.
Yep. Show us what you got, brother.
Do a screenshot of that. That way you know what to do next time.
Settings.
So he's not hearing us now.
Can you hear us, Joaquin?
Say U.S. Navy if you can hear us.
I don't know
Okay,
what's
JJ.
going on. Yeah, we can't hear you now, JJ. Can you hear us? Yes, no?
Says it's gonna
Ooh, that's pretty.
Love this Baltic.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Nice.
So he took a board and cut it and then stacked it and then glued it up and aligned the grains to make it look like it came from one continuous piece of wood.
That's
Wow.
That's pretty.
Oh
That is
my
pretty.
God.
Really nice.
And he's got a little face there like a Cookie Monster.
See what you've done, Brenda, everybody.
Yeah.
Now he's got a hodgepodge box with multiple pieces of wood: canary wood, bloodwood, zebra wood, and cherry and maple, and I can't remember the rest.
Well, that's a beautiful.
Purple heart.
They're all finished with his tongue, honey.
Oh yeah, looks good.
And he's got a Turner's fit on that lid. You can see it snap.
Yeah.
Does,
Yeah, it's not a Frenchie fit.
does he know that we can't hear him?
Yes.
I mean, he's talking.
Yes.
No, he
yes,
doesn't
he
know.
knows.
He can't hear us.
No, but he probably
Oh,
he
pretty.
probably wants to talk to us.
And that's a piece of walnut.
Open the top.
He's going to, Sue.
I know, but it looks so.
Yeah. Nice fit.
That grain match is like perfect. Look at that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But I couldn't wait for him to open it because it looks so great.
It looks like that grain's got the all-seeing eye right there.
What's the little finial? Do you know, Dane?
No.
There's this pop.
Yep.
Yeah. Now he's back to his
Beautiful.
box from aboard.
Wow.
You're good, JJ.
Everything looked
It
great.
happens.
Beautiful pieces.
That's okay.
Yeah,
All right.
it's all good.
Thanks, JJ. Those were nice pieces. I've got nobody else on my list.
Got nobody else on the list.
Yeah,
There's
but
nobody
Jeff,
else
if you're,
that wants to-
JJ,
well, hang
you
on just
should
a
have
sec.
gotten a couple pictures from me yesterday.
Give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, JJ, if you can hear us. I don't know if you can or not.
Yeah,
All
he
right.
can't hear us.
So if Jeff is still here, Jeff, this is, I did some, oh,
I'm here.
all right. I went away here. So let me spotlight this. So I did some lasering on walnut.
Oh,
and then I
nice.
filled it with, I had some stuff on display at a shop a couple years ago. This is walnut. And then I filled the cavities with the white liming wax. So
Did you put
that's
the
what that looks
gloss
like.
on first?
No.
So when, oh, really? Okay.
So I don't know if you can see this, but the white is in the grain in the
Yes.
walnut too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's, and at first I was worried that it was going to be, affecting the readability of it. And I was like, that's really cool. I'm going to leave it in.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's a good look. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So that's what it looks like. Yep. So I'm going to take me away and send it back to,
Send it back
all
to
right.
me.
So if anybody else has gallery, please let us know in the chat, or we don't have anybody else on the list. Any word on Eddie and how he's doing?
No, I have not heard what's going on with Eddie. Normally he shoots me a message if there's something going on with him. Let me put my doggone cat up here. She snuck out with me.
Well, we have a late entry for gallery, so I'm going to switch over to Doug.
Okay.
Hey,
What
what's
you got,
going on?
Doug?
It's been forever since I've been in. Let me figure out how to turn the camera around again. And there it is. All right, so this is some more Mark Soleil wood. When I went and visited Georgia to go see my neighbor, and then got the chance to go see Mark Soleil. So this is some box elder that I got from him. And so little hat comes off, and then let's decapitate them because that's always cool. And so there we go. Who doesn't want to decapitate?
Looks good.
My head, I didn't
Cool
get
idea.
a good enough tenon on the head, so it's a little sloppy. The hat fits really nice. And then this is also wood that I got from Mark Soleil, and that one is ambrosia maple.
Wow.
Pretty.
Nice.
Yeah. So I haven't made too much since the last time I was on. That's it.
No,
That's
it's-
it. You've done more Facebook Lives than that.
No, this was the Facebook Live, the snowman.
Was it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All
And
right.
so even that was a couple weeks ago. But
well, very good. Very good.
Matt, highlight me real quick when he's done.
I'm done.
Who was that?
Me.
Is that Billy?
Yeah.
All right.
This is walnut that I engraved. That could easily be filled, and that was a light burn. It's not really that deep. Well, I say it's not that deep. It's a 32nd of an inch maybe, but that would be easily fillable. And this is what the same setting looks like in Sipo or African mahogany. Again, nice little burn that's easily fillable. I think I was running 3,000 at 60%.
Okay, thank you.
So it doesn't take much, and it will burn. Like I said, this is walnut, and it burned that pretty nice. So if you're worried about that, then it's still deep enough that you can fill it with a contrast color.
Why is it so light? That doesn't look like dark walnut at all. Is it a different kind of walnut?
No, it's black walnut, but it's got a little sapwood in it. See?
Oh, I see. Okay, I got you. Okay.
Yeah, it's all walnut. It's just that this was a laminate, and this piece was all sapwood. This piece had a little sapwood, and this piece didn't have any.
It works.
Yeah, I use my scraps for stuff like that. So yes, walnut burns very nicely. That's all I wanted.
Very cool.
Thank you, Billy.
Very cool. So do we have any new members in tonight that are still on? I noticed Lance was in earlier and looks like he buggered out already. Do we have any other new members sitting inside here that want to self-identify and say this is their first time coming or their first time they've been to a meeting and, you know, maybe the last month or so? No one? Everybody's bashful. Wow. Is there
My name is
anything?
Doug, and I'm a wood turner.
I'm a wood turner,
That help?
right? Right.
Everybody
yeah, well,
say
that-
welcome, Doug.
Welcome,
Doug.
Welcome, Doug.
You haven't been in so long, you may as well be a new member.
Yo, I got something else. I got something else I can show if you guys want to see it. It's a work in progress, but all right. Let me spot myself here. So this is just a little bit of a mushroom.
Cool.
It's not glued yet, but at any rate, it's just a little bit of something that's happening right now. And the bottom is not, it's not flat. It's at an angle. So I'm going to angle this a bit. So it's going to be, you know, I don't know how I'm going to angle it, but it's not going to be straight up and down. It's just, I cut it at a slight angle, so it sits weird. So
that's going to be cool.
Yeah. Yep. So, and I thought I'd like, I have a lot of little logs and stuff. So I thought I would cut like a little cookie of something and leave a natural edge on and just glue that to it. And, you know.
All right, here's my challenge for you. Hold your mushroom back up. So, not a huge mushroom. So we're going to challenge your tiny turning skills. And now you need to turn a Smurf to scale to fit under that mushroom. It could be
Dude, you know I can do that, Doug.
I know you can. So next week we want to see Papa Smurf.
Yep.
Oh my. Bob's got something.
So we're gonna I see Bob in there, guys. Let's get over to him.
Oh, and now John.
What's up, Bob?
Unmute here. They get it?
Yeah, we got you now, Bob.
All right, I got a couple of bowls I want to show you. This is that little ring bowl. It's like the one that I went through the side down here. but I've made so many of these, I'm just gonna chunk the other one. But the main thing I wanted to show here, other than the fact that this is an easy bowl to turn, if anybody wants something easy, a segmented piece that's easy to make. The little splines you put in here, you just make your segment less, the distance across here less the distance of your spine, how wide that spline is. But the other thing I want to say is that this is the same bowl with different material. It still has the same mahogany wood, but instead of a bloodwood, this one here was bloodwood. See how much better it shows up?
Yeah, you're froze, Bob.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it just me or is he frozen? Yeah, okay, all right.
Is it frozen?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he's frozen.
But we're hearing your voice fine.
Voice is fine. Well, I don't know. I mean, I can see
I guess
myself.
you and JJ switched parameters.
I guess so. All
Yeah,
right. Well, I guess they can't show it. That's okay. But
Bob,
you know,
maybe
pay attention to your
pick
wood.
a different video input and then switch back to the camera. I don't know if you've got more than one, but see if you can't do that. Maybe going out and going back to it will let you show it.
Yeah, I think there's a couple more.
I don't have another input here, but I don't know what he's doing now. He's off on something else.
You want to go out and come back in, Bob?
Yeah,
I want to see those pieces. I saw them online when you posted them. Also, Howard King, you need to put your name on the list because you were supposed to bring a piece to show tonight. It looks like let's see, Scott's got something to show.
Yep, Scott's up next.
We got you, Scott.
What you got, Scott?
Well, this is the picture frame I did in the demo for the club up north.
Nice.
Played with some beads, beading tool.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a piece of white pine. It's really got some great character in it.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it does.
Love it.
Now I just got to figure out how to darken it a little.
It's a shame about the picture in the middle, Scott.
Good one,
There's
Martin.
no help for that, right, Martin?
That's right.
That looked great, though. It looks
Nice
great.
job, Scott.
The fellow that was on last week was very impressed with this club.
That's cool.
Nice.
Well, good.
So is he going to
Hey,
come?
John Weber, I'd like to switch to you, but your video's off. I can't.
Well, I'm back. You want to try me?
Yeah,
Or
let's
there
go
he
back
is.
to Bob.
Oh, there's
okay,
John.
we're
Let's stay
going
with
back to
John.
Bob. All right, go ahead, John.
John's here. Let's see John.
All right. I don't know how to switch my camera onto the. I just got it on the back, so I'll have to put my phone around. I got this burl
Pretty.
that I filled with epoxy, and been working on it for a while for a customer. Finishing that, I got a couple of natural edge bowls here. This is a little small one. Salted maple is another one. Salted maple came out pretty good. Really nice chunk of wood. I got a little piggy.
There you go.
That's
Little
cute.
piggy. We had
That's
our
cute.
club picnic, and the theme was barnyard animals. So we did that.
Nice.
Perfect.
And then give me a second here. I'm crazy here. And I got quite a few other small, super thin bowls and natural edge and stuff like that I've been doing, just letting them dry. So, so I want to say, Billy Burt, you're a bad man. All right. I saw you drinking out of your Whataburger cup. That is just wrong. I'm in Connecticut and I can't get Whataburger.
Sorry.
I'm going down by Thanksgiving, so I'll be eating Whataburger for Thanksgiving.
There you go.
There you go. Very nice, John. Thanks
Thank
very
you.
much.
Great.
Yes. Nice pieces, John.
All right,
Yeah,
so
well
let's see if Bob's back here.
There he is.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, I don't know where what you could see before. Were you able to see this bowl?
Yes.
Okay.
Right there's what we saw. We didn't see the bottom.
Oh, okay. You can see the bottom.
Now, is
Just
that
a solid bottom, even though it's probably 9 inches wide. I haven't
is
had
that-
any trouble with them splitting out, over the years, even though they are big, they're, it's not green wood, it's the what do you call it? Kiln dried wood. But what I wanted to show here was the difference between these. They're the same wood. Both of them are mahogany. It's just this one has bloodwood for the little splines in it, the little wedges.
Yeah.
And this one has beech. And beech doesn't show up that well in this. If it had been a maple, it probably would have showed up better. But even then, it's too light of a wood. The mahogany is too light of a wood, even for maple, to really show up good. But anyway, you just got to watch your woods, and so everything comes out, where it really looks good. Anyway, that's all I have to say.
they're beautiful, Bob. Are the bottoms both mahogany?
Yeah, both of them are mahogany. This one here is a little darker mahogany. It actually looks more like mahogany than the other one does.
I was going to say that other one looked a little bit like ribbon sapele or ribbon mahogany, but it's beautiful. They're both beautiful.
Yeah, I don't know the difference, and it all came from the same pile. So I don't know. I'm going to a wood mill, I guess, and this is just their cutoffs out there. It's free, so it's easy for me to pick up and
that's
take me about it.
That's perfect. Ours charge nominal fee. They don't give anything out.
Really, yeah. This one, if you go, they don't really want you to do it because it messes up their piles. They have it all bundled up, all their scrap that they cut off the edges. They bundle it up and set it out at the back. But if you go on the weekends, there's nobody there, so you can go out
there you go.
and
That's
pull what you want out of it. So, but it's a good place to get free wood, as long as you don't make a mess, I guess.
Yeah, that's cool.
Nice.
Those
I'd just
are
throw a
both
couple
beautiful.
of bundles in the back of the truck and be done with it.
They're big bundles. We're talking about 4 foot around and probably 10, 12 feet long. So
wow.
So you take a friend, okay?
Yeah, right.
And a forklift.
I don't know what I'd do with that much of it anyway. You take 4 or 5 pieces, and 3 pieces of that stuff usually makes a bowl, so you don't need a whole lot of it.
Wow, beautiful though.
Very cool. Very cool. Nice work, Bob.
Yeah.
All right, Dane. Well, back to you because that's all we got. So,
all right. No worries.
Martin, I have a question.
Yep.
Go ahead, Billy.
How would we go about getting hold of those ferrules for handles?
I was just starting to type back to you, Billy, and it's very, very nice of you to ask. At the moment, I stock them, but they are quite expensive to send over to the States. But I am looking at a US manufacturer to be able to manufacture them in America, so that not only are they made in America, but secondly, it will be more cost effective to be able to ship them out around America. So if you're not in a hurry, Billy, hold on and watch this space. If you are in a hurry, just drop me an email and I will try and do something on the postage. If there's a few people that want them, I might be able to send them over to, I'm sure, Dane or Scott.
One of us.
One of you guys will.
We can distribute.
I could send maybe 8, 10, 12, whatever out, and then distribute them through Dane or Scott.
Roger that.
But yeah, that's the best I can say at the moment.
I'll talk to you tomorrow, Martin.
Yeah, super, Scott.
Because I think I have a couple people that want them to.
Yeah.
So maybe we can make a bundle deal.
well, there's certainly nothing like them on the market.
No.
Like I said, it was my design. It took a long time to come up with. The first design that I did, there were individuals, so you would have to buy 3. It wasn't very cost effective. Then we looked at another design, but there weren't. I didn't feel they were strong enough for what I wanted. And then eventually, when I did get the design right, I've used them for nearly 6 months constantly to make sure that they work. Because one of the questions that we get, or I have been asked on a regular occasion in the UK, is why is there only one grub screw? Everybody else has 2 grub screws. Well, everybody else has 2 grub screws because they can fit 2 grub screws in it. There is no need for 2 grub screws. The force that you are giving the tool is not a downward or a pulling force. It is a force that will split the handle rather than pull the mechanism out of the handle. So having tested it, tried it, and had it tested, there is no requirement for the 2 grub screws. We were at one point looking at trying to put one in. If there was any benefit to a second grub screw, it wants to be at 90-degree angle. So you would have them at 2 points for 2 points of contact at different points around the head of the tool. But it really isn't. I've took advice on this, and it really isn't necessary. What it would allow you to do would be, it is an overkill, but it would allow you to hold a tang tool, with a flat tang, by having the 2 grub screws and 2 different points. But the Robert Sorby sleeve that holds the Robert Sorby tang tools actually fits my collet. It actually fits my ferrule. So really, there's already something on the market. There's no need for me to redesign that something that's on the market. That was never the intention. The intention for me was to create myself a wooden handle. There's something nice about having a wooden handle. And like I said, with the Simon Hope tools, I have no problem. I've used them for 7 years. I have no problem with them. But ultimately, the grip has now become to the point where it is just awful to hold. And I'm holding that handle an awful lot. And that's why I like my wooden handles. And I can also create the handle that I like. That one of the handles that's in my workshop that's my go-to handle is actually it's made from a piece of holly. And it is just so nice. It is just so comfortable to hold. It is a little bit heavier than the ash handles and the oak handles that I make. But I could use it all day, and I don't feel like I've been using or holding a tool. So you can create your own shape in your handle, your own fit in your handle, your own length in your handle, your own colours, and your own timbers. And that's what I wanted to try and achieve. Something that's a little bit different. That's that people can enjoy. And it means you've got to turn your own bloody handle, which gets you into your workshops turning.
Of course. I've got a number of handles that I've made, and I like them all. I'm really happy with that last one I made. That Texas Ebony is a joy to hold, and I really like it. It's a little heavier, but it's than your standard handle maybe. But I really love the feel of it. It's just really nice.
Yeah, well, there you are, Billy. I'll swap you that one. Texas Ebony. Wow. And I'm worried about the cost of postage, and you're making handles in Texas Ebony.
Well, it was a tree that it was a small, about a 3-inch tree that I cut down by mistake.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say. I was hoping he was going to say by mistake. You
Oh yeah.
way too soon.
If I had known before I started cutting into it that it was Texas Ebony, I would have cut that oak tree down next to it. And that oak tree next to it's a foot across.
How long did you cuss yourself?
I'm not done, and that was over a year ago. I cuss myself every time I walk by what's left of that trunk.
Hey, Martin.
Yeah.
If you didn't hear me earlier, I had a very, very enjoyable evening. Thanks.
Oh, nice to hear it. Nice to hear it. Like I said, I
It was
always
a
bring
very
in a little
enjoyable evening.
demo because I don't want to bore people. I want to try and inspire people. I want to, and I think when you're making component parts for things, whatever you're making, if you've got 2 or 3 component parts, you've got to think more about putting them parts together than just creating a ball. And I always like to do a demonstration that might inspire somebody to go into their workshop and create something that's new or different. You don't necessarily have to copy what somebody's doing, but you've got to draw inspiration from as many places as you can, whether it's another wood turner or whether it's a pottery maker or a porcelain maker or a, glass blower. There's lots of things out there that you can kind of look at and think, I could do that in wood. And that's what we all, try to achieve. We all just want to enjoy time in the workshop, whether you're making a living by it or whether you're just a hobbyist turner. We all have a lathe because we just like to spend time in the workshop, and the lathe gets a hold of you very, very quickly. And the reason it gets a hold of you is because you can produce something very, very quickly. Unlike most other things, pottery, it takes time. You've got to create the pot, you've got to put it in, you've got to fire it, you've got to glaze it, etc., etc., etc. Whereas we can just put a lump of timber on a lathe and create a shape within, a few minutes.
Right. But if I was a machinist, which I am not, those ferrules would be quite easy to make out of billet aluminum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just can't because it's my design.
Well, you don't have to worry there. I'm not a machinist.
We can take a lot of inspiration from the pottery world too, because the shapes are the same.
Oh yeah.
And
massive.
Yeah, and there's a lot of very interesting things that the pottery folks are doing that can really serve as an inspiration for us.
Yes, I was turned on to this book. You need to bring me back up, Dane.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you.
Somebody brought you out.
I was turned on to this book a couple of years ago, and it's no longer in print, but I was lucky enough to find this one used on Amazon for about $12. The last time I looked on Amazon for one of these, they were over $54.
Wow.
So it's hit or miss depending on whether you can find them, and it's got shapes and forms and all kinds of stuff in it.
Another principle they follow.
Yeah,
and they follow the golden ratio.
Oh yeah, and I take a lot of, even shows you how to make candles if you want to do that. Yeah. But I take a lot of inspiration off of stuff in this book. It's just
that looks like it's chock full of good info.
It really is. If you can find one of these, I would recommend it. It was actually one of the seminars I went to, I guess 4 years ago at SWAT. She was doing wood burning and stuff. I don't remember her name, but she does a lot of pyro and she's well known for it. On turnings. She turns and then does pyro. And she recommended this book. So first thing I did was order one. But not just this book, but any book of this nature, you can get a lot of good information from.
Yeah. Yeah, Kelly's wife does pottery.
There was some very interesting, I took a class with Nick Agar a while back, like about 10 years ago, and he was trying to do some stuff with airbrushing to mimic some of the raku stuff that the potters were doing also. It was really very interesting, especially how, some potters wrap a form in horsehair and then stick it in the kiln, and you get these sort of burn as the horsehair consumes itself in the kiln. You get these burn marks and I don't know. It was very interesting trying to recreate that with an airbrush. So
All right,
Yeah,
Brenda.
there's
What you got here, Brenda?
she's got a stack of notes, she says. Have a great night, Jeff.
Later,
Night.
Jeff.
Night, Jeff.
Take care, everyone.
Is that just from tonight?
No, that's multiple nights. You're muted, Brenda. Now you got to start all over again.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, we hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah, we hear you.
This is my notes from every meeting. Pictures and look at that. What was
Wow.
that? The Inspiration Project, Glenn Woolever of Richmond, Tom Baumgrenstein.
Yeah, I couldn't read it either.
Right. Yeah,
I
you were
can't
flipping the
either.
pages.
But
Do you
anyway,
put it?
tonight,
Do you put a date? Do you put a date on them?
yes, there's a date at the
What's the
top.
oldest? What's the oldest date?
1/18/23. I don't know. You know, I looked at that the other day. May 25th, 22.
Oh, cool, Patrick. It's come down.
23. It's like 22.
You just have to keep an eye out for it because, like I said, they're not in print anymore. And when you find them, they're used and people have been putting a pretty good price tag on them.
Looks like May 18th. Mark Soleil made us. Nope. I don't know what that was. Where's his notes?
You've wrote a book, Brenda.
Yeah.
You know, and it's really funny because I say to my kids, don't bother reading that book. If it's any good, it'll come out on DVD.
June 1st, Billy Dillard did a pen with a bowl gouge.
And you know, the funny thing about it, Brenda, is it has actually come out on DVD because we've got the biggest website you have ever seen in your life with every single demo. And you've taken notes of all of them demos.
Yes.
So we've not only got the biggest website that holds all of these demos, we've now got a book of demos.
Tonight's demo was a 2-pager. And this one's going out in the garage with me tomorrow. 2-pager. Yeah.
I also just ordered or recently ordered Turn Boxes, 50 Designs by Chris Stott. And come on. Turning Boxes with Friction Fit Lids by Bill Bowers. So I'm always looking for ideas and where to find them.
There's many ideas. We just got to keep our eyes open and mute out, the type of medium it is, and just look at the shapes and the forms of the vessels that we see in everyday life.
Right.
The majority of it can all be incorporated in what we do.
Yep. And the same thing can go with coloring and shading and all that stuff. You can look at my wife's card world and different ways of shading, painting and everything. It's all the mediums seem to play into wood turning at some point.
Yep.
That one shape that I seem to have copied a lot, especially in the beginning when I was first learning, still happens to me though. I'll get inspired, I guess. I don't even realize I'm inspired, but it's funnels, and yeah, I make that funnel shape.
Well, here's a question for the hive that is still existing. How many people have actually tried to turn a funnel?
A real funnel?
A real funnel.
Yes.
No, I have not.
I keep saying I'm going to, but I haven't. All my funnels have been accidental.
Yeah, mine too.
I've made two.
A functional real funnel.
Yeah, I have
Yep,
not.
yep. Yeah, I made one for my chainsaw oil. And because I didn't have one hanging out in the shop that I could find. And then I made one that's sort of a funnel that I use as a like a small lampshade for one of the lights in my shop.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
Yeah, the first
Misplaced
one
it.
I made was for pouring, kitchen grease into a bottle. Yep. That'd be a
There
damn
you
good
go.
demo. That'd be a damn good demo.
And so, did you just use your Jacob's chuck and a drill bit for the spout?
For
Yeah,
drilling the inside hole? Yes.
Yeah.
You just drill it out and you put it between centers and finish turning it.
Okay.
I've made two of them, one for me and one for a friend of mine. Mine, I made to sit level on the top of a jar.
Yep.
And it actually
that way you ain't got to hold it.
Exactly.
Yeah. When you're
I made
pouring
it so
something.
it fit a smallmouth mason jar and a largemouth mason jar.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yep.
Very handy, for those that do the craft markets and whatnot. $10 funnels, you can sell them all day long.
That would make a cool demo. Okay, do we all nominate Dane to do that?
I thought you were volunteering, Doug.
I thought Brenda
said
was.
I've never made one. I'll show you how to make one wrong. I'm good at that. I'll make anything wrong.
Right, so I'm
thought
down
Brenda
to do a
was
demo.
volunteering.
I'll do a demo on making a funnel. I need 2 new people to step up and do a demo for us.
And a funnel
2
will
new
be
people.
easy to do then.
I'm working on one.
Not
You're
counting
working
you.
on an actual funnel?
You've already committed, Roger. Not you.
I've done mine.
We have 100 people on every night, and it's the nucleus. There's 20 or 25 of us that do all the conversing and carrying on the meetings. We have 15 to 20 same individuals showing their work.
Man, he just
And then the majority of everybody else is just sitting in the background. And Heather, I understand that you're at work. I'm not digging on you.
Maybe I would be scared to death.
Don't be scared. Just try it.
What? There's nothing to be scared of. There's no technology you need.
No, just a phone.
You can use your cell phone. I use my cell phone for all my demos for the last 5 years. I've been using it. Brenda's done it with her cell phone.
I know.
Many people do it with their cell phones.
Nothing to
He's
be
the
afraid
one
of,
that
Al.
inspires me the most.
Al,
Nothing
your
to be
work's
afraid
better
of.
than
You've seen
mine.
me screw up enough.
Now, Al, I know that you started making some of those inside out ornaments, so that would be a great demo.
And here's the thing: every single time I have done a demo for Worldwide Woodturners, I learn something from everybody watching, because there's plenty of woodturners in this club that are way better than I am, and I am open to their ideas. So I want people to say, "Hey, try it this way." And when I do my demos, I'll say that. Who has a different way of doing it? And Billy will jump in, or somebody will jump in and say, "Well, try this." And I mean, one night we got all kinds of crazy having fun with one of the demos I did.
Yeah.
So
we sure did.
yeah, just go for it.
It's enjoyable.
It really
there's
is.
nothing to be scared of. I mean, hell, we all know each other.
Yeah.
Even the ones that sit in the background. Been sitting in the background for up to 4 years now, and you know who we are. We know who you
honestly,
are.
and I know I joke about a lot of stuff, but I am not joking about this. When I did my first demo in this club, it shot my confidence through the roof. When Eddie Castellan gives me a compliment, that's like getting a compliment from your dad, right? That's like, holy cow, I impressed that man. And that's not easy to do. And his compliment was with all sincerity. He wasn't blowing smoke my way. And it shoots your confidence up. So yes, if you have not done a demo for this club, just jump in there and do it. I don't care if it's a 5 or a 10-minute demo. It will boost your confidence.
I agree.
Doesn't have to be something complex. It doesn't have to be an hour long. It doesn't have to be 2 hours long. It could be 30 minutes.
It
could be
would be
15
perfect.
minutes.
And
You
it
can
could be
turn-
recorded.
Right. You can turn an ink pen if you want, if that's what you're comfortable with doing. Whatever you're keen on doing. Hell, you can come in and have a piece of wood and we all just try to guide on what the project is going to be. It's hard for the ones that are always doing demonstrations to keep coming up with something new for the group because we're not getting much interaction for those that don't interact.
My problem would be you couldn't hear me with my Transier Air Shield Pro on if I was talking.
So record it for us and then talk over it.
I don't know how to do that.
Well,
I'm learning.
All right, let's work through your issue. So you've got a shield where we can't hear you, but you've got a camera that's good enough where we can see you. So the work through is you're going to do your step, however many steps in your demo you're going to do. Then you pause what you're doing. You lift up your shield. You take questions. You drop the shield and you go back. And because even when Martin was doing his tonight, right, he's not talking the entire time. He's working through the demo and then he stops. And generally we like to hold our questions kind of till the end anyway, so you're not interrupting the turn. Unless the demoer says, hey, are there any questions? Well, then they want questions. So you work that. It's your demo. We're here to support you, and we're going to help you find success.
Right.
And
Well said. Well said.
And unless it's something that's a kit like a pen, when I go to my lathe, I usually don't, even though I might know what I'm making, I usually don't have a plan.
I'm right there with you. I am the same.
Yeah, I don't have a plan either. I have an idea.
I am not.
I have an idea.
Right. Duxbury's the guy that knows exactly what he's doing before he ever does it. But he's a gazillion times better turner than I will ever be. I can say that. That guy's got more experience in his pinky toe than I'll ever have behind a lathe. And I aspire to be like him, but that's not the demo I do. When I'm getting on there for Worldwide Woodturners and I do my demo, I'm getting on there to have fun. I'm getting on there to make people laugh. And if somebody can learn something from what I did, awesome. But I am a woodturner for entertainment.
Yes.
Well said, Doug.
I'm going to jump in, Doug, and say that better is probably the wrong word. Different is a better word.
I like it.
I believe, and I've said this before, whether you are a brand spanking new turner, and this is why Dane is trying to encourage some of these guys to come up and show us. A brand new turner, chances are you can teach me something. I will pick up something and think, why didn't I think of that? Why have I not done that? Because you've got new eyes, you've got new ideas. And it doesn't actually even need to be a demonstration. Come forward, show us how you hold timber, show us how you mount it on the lathe, show us what you do to it prior to it. Because there will be something that somebody can pick up. And I always say, when you're a wood turner that knows everything, you're not a very good wood turner.
Right.
Good. Well said. And that's
it's as simple as that. If you know everything about wood turning, you are not a very good wood turner, because it means you've learned nothing from other people. And we all do things very differently, but we all enjoy exactly the same thing. We all enjoy exactly the same thing. And if you can enjoy it more by watching somebody else do something differently, it just makes it makes the workshop. The workshop can be a very cold and lonely place.
Yep.
Yeah, and,
So-
and I've always learned something every time I turn with anybody else, and that includes doing a demo. That includes hanging out with you guys every Wednesday night. I learn something every single Wednesday night I'm in here.
Yeah, me too.
And you know, and just even visiting somebody else's shop, everybody thinks about things differently, and everybody has something to teach all of us, and it's fascinating.
It is fascinating. You're absolutely right.
Yep. Okay, hey guys, we do have a gallery entry, so I'm going to switch over to John and see what he's got. What do you got, John?
Well, I don't know whether I've shown you this or not before, but I've turned a little piece of red oak.
Wow.
This is 12 by 12. It had 3 limbs coming out of it. Was cut off at the top of the tree. And it was hollow all the way through, so you can see that.
Yeah.
Pour
Oh, yeah.
that with resin. You see that through there.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it's got good color. It's natural edge.
It's beautiful.
That's beautiful.
Gorgeous.
I love that shape. I love that shape.
I see a bat.
It looks great.
I see the bat.
Yeah, I see it. Me too.
See the bear?
I don't see the bat. I see
I
a
saw an
seal.
ape face.
I saw a seal.
Yeah, I just saw the seal.
Oh, space.
Oh, there's a lot of things
Go
in it.
slower so we can find. So we can find.
Love
It's
the
cool.
shape on that too.
Now,
That's
one
bad.
thing I learned when I turned this was I put the resin in before it was dry,
Oh.
and resin does not shrink.
No.
Wood does. And so there's a nice crack right here that developed in it.
Mm.
And but that's about the only problem.
Yeah,
That's it.
you filled it. You filled it up in the
kept it
inside.
together.
didn't
Yeah,
And
it looks
what type of resin did you use? Do you remember which brand you
you?
used?
Right, look at
I
it.
have no idea. I've got 2 or 3 different kinds, and I just had 2 little bottles there, and I poured it together and put a little red color in it, and that was it.
That's really cool. Yeah, there's some resins that are a little bit more friendly with minimal moisture. None of them like moisture, but like there's Alumilite. There, I don't remember which one of the Alumilites. Boy, I couldn't even bring that thing past my utility sink. It'd start frothing up on me. Couldn't get any moisture near it. But I use a lot of Dr. Crafty, and it's a little bit more forgiving when the wood still got some wetness in it.
Well, if I just let it go on another month or 2 with it before I put the resin in it, it probably would have been okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my wife doesn't like it because she says it's too big to sit on my table.
Get her a bigger table.
I know.
Or just turn an
put-
even bigger one, and then that one won't look so big.
That's true.
And put some stuff in it, like make some small cacti or
There you go.
cattails or
Well,
something.
It holds flowers very nicely.
There you go.
I've done that, and
Whole
But
lot.
You
it's
can even do Christmas wreath. You can even put Christmas wreaths around it.
I'm thinking Halloween candy when they come knocking on his door here in a couple weeks.
that's true. Very true.
Very true.
Got to put a mousetrap at the bottom of.
Absolutely.
Nothing like
That's
watching that
great.
kid jump when it goes snap.
That's
That would
really
be
nice,
too
John.
nice.
Yeah.
Great
Good.
job, John.
Very
Thank
beautiful.
you, John.
All right, Howard finally stepped up to the plate. He wanted to be last.
What's he under? Oh, he's under Howard
Howard
King
King.
for
Yeah,
a
I
change.
changed.
Okay.
I changed his name.
What you got,
How y'all
Howard?
doing? Got a little piece here. This part is cherry, and this part's cherry, and that's part cherry. And this is holly that's been dyed. It's kind of a little
Nice.
double finial.
Yeah.
So that so that when you take it out, you get a little surprise. And the stem and base, they're holly that's been dyed. And so
Saw that on
this
Facebook. Beautiful.
This texture here is wrapping paper tissue. In fact, I think I used pink on this one. And you just take Elmer's glue and just put it there and take a brush or a toothpick or something and just start moving it around, and then I took some acrylic black paint, painted it, and so kind of gives a unique. Can y'all see that texture on it?
Yeah.
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 That looks
That's
neat.
awesome. Awesome, Howard.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
great job.
Really cool.
One thing, I think the base is too small. Don't y'all think it's too small?
Nope.
Nope.
As long as it stands up.
Yeah, if
No,
it doesn't tip, then you're good.
I agree with you, Howard. The base diameters about
Yeah,
a
it should
half
be a
inch
little
too
bit.
small.
Look, should be a little bit more than half. What do you think of the diameter? I think, But my problem was I only had a 2x2 piece of holly for that, so I guess that's where the limitation came into. So
Art
anyway.
is in the eye of the beholder, and I behold that as a space coming down, sending its rays, sucking me up, taking me out of this world to Mars. I'll just tell you the whole story, and we'll just keep going. And over there, men can wear bikinis while they do the quick turning. I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent. Your thing looks beautiful, buddy.
I think it looks good too, Howard. Looks great.
That looks great. Thank you for bringing that to show tonight.
That is
cool. Yeah, I had posted it on Facebook this week, so
yeah, I saw that. Look good.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, you read my
We'd
comment.
also need to have Howard do a demo on how he makes those.
Yes, Howard.
I know.
Well, Daniel says he's got something to show us too.
All right,
What
Daniel.
you got,
you're up.
Daniel?
Hello, hello.
Hi, Dan.
We got you, Dan.
Oh.
No.
Oh, he's got his Christmas tree kits finished.
Yep.
Oh, look at that.
Nice.
Now I can sell them, and these right here is what the lady asked me for with no finish on any of it. And after she's seen what I did with these, she said, why didn't you tell me you could do that? And I said, I did. But the price would have went up. This one I really didn't like until I started looking at it. It really looked cool.
It does.
I like it, yeah.
I like it.
A whole lot of jazz.
And, I learned quite a bit with, iridescent paints and how to put it on. And, the foil.
So what's the finish you're using there, Daniel?
On it is just spray lacquer.
Okay.
I didn't put no finish on the post coming up, and I put just beeswax on the top, the green.
Gotcha.
And this one's my wife's favorite.
Oh yeah, looks like
It is pretty.
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite too.
Hey,
I like
Dan.
all of them.
Yeah.
Dan, do you have the skirt that goes on those? So you can show what they look like?
No, I got a picture. I'll see if I can find it real quick.
While you're looking for it, Dan, I'll tell him what you called me about.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Dan and I had a lovely conversation. And it was about, if you look at your grinders, no matter what grinder you have, it's got your safety rules on the grinder. And for those of you that can get down there and read them, I suggest you do that. It tells you what what kind of stuff is in the air and what kind of stuff you don't want to breathe in. And remember, that was our safety talk last week. So I was glad that he called me, and it was wonderful talking to him. So there you have it.
Good stuff. Actually, I misplaced them. I had to find the instructions again. But you put cloth on it from up here all the way down like this. And it's pretty simple to do. I'm glad I took pictures of it, but I don't know how to share a screen. Otherwise, I'd put it up.
Says share screen, man.
Huh?
It just says share screen on your bottom of your.
You have to have the picture on your computer already up.
I think he's on a
Oh,
phone.
He's on his phone right now.
Oh.
Yeah, they're on my phone, so.
Dan, have you got 2 cameras going tonight?
Yeah. Yeah, I can bring it
Yeah,
up.
bring it up and we'll put it on bring you up and put you on your iPad?
Yeah.
Oh shit, you got Dan. There we go. iPad. Dan and Dan. Hold it in front of your camera.
Dane, what word did you say there?
I said Dan and Dan.
That's what they look like.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
cool.
okay.
Oh, that makes a lot.
And you can use any material you want. You can make them Halloween, Easter, whatever. You don't glue the post in. You can pop them out, and these are all individual, and you just put them in a Ziploc bag and pull out the next season. You can do it for Thanksgiving, whatever.
Yeah, like a mini holiday tree for your table.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
So those are layers of cloth?
Yeah.
I'll be darned.
So what kind of cloth is it?
It's just any thick cloth. It's got to be
It's gotta
thick
have
cloth, though.
Got to have some dexterity to it.
Yep.
Yeah. You gather it, you cut a strip and you gather it together, tie the gather in so that you can put it on the pole and you build it up.
Well,
We do that with I don't know if you guys would remember, but they have loose netting. We would do it with loose netting and then hang miniature stuff on them.
Here's some of the instructions.
Yeah, we can't really see them.
Yeah.
Where'd you get the instructions at?
Can you send that to the web page?
Yeah, I probably could. When I find yeah, I can do that.
That'd be great.
Very cool, Dan. Very cool.
Good ideas.
And it don't take long to do them. They really don't. Why it was taking me so long is I turned them all, and then I wanted a different design on every one. And it's like, I put just let me switch this back around. If you want to put me on my phone again, Dane.
I got you. I got you.
It's like this one I wanted. Let me find. Oh, I gotta switch the camera. That's why. I want a basket-like look.
Mm-hmm.
And this one was just a twist. This one I just wanted a difference in it. The color to break it up.
Looks good.
And that's how I mounted it. you know, it's in between centers, and then I put a 1.25 inch hole in it, about 1/8 of an inch, and use my jaws on it, pen jaws, and then trimmed it on an angle so it wouldn't be tippy. I like that one quite well.
That one is beautiful.
Yeah, I like that.
And this is another one my wife really likes.
Oh
What'd you
yeah,
use
the
to
form
texture
is
that
great.
other one?
Huh?
Dan, what'd you use to texture? What'd you use to texture that other one, the burgundy one?
Robert Sorby tool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And here's another one. I put yellow on this one.
Cool.
And this one's oak, and all the rest of them are pine. Well, not all of them. That one is oak.
What's the diameter of those?
2 inches. It's not very much, and it don't have to be really.
All right. About how tall are those?
I don't know. I got a ruler right here.
Lay it down on the mat right there in front of you.
Yeah, I could do that too. 12 inches, foot.
That is cool.
But they're fun to make, In fact, I measured every one of these, and I would never do that again. I just count how many I wanted, limbs coming out. Just mark them on it and turn it down, and just make them kind of even spaced. It don't even matter if they're even spaced. So, and the other thing I did not like that I did was this round tip like this. I didn't care for that. So I made it more pointed. See difference on it.
Wouldn't you be able to do a demo on those?
Yeah, probably could. It'd probably take about an hour and a half.
Well, we have the
That'd be good.
But I'd turn it round first before I even started to get it prepped up pretty good. Because we all know how to make a cylinder. So at least we should.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dan is working on trying to figure out his demoing apparatus there. He's got a camera and a boom set up over by his lathe now. We are gradually we are sliding into that mode. Dan will be a future demonstrator by Q1 of 2025. So
yeah.
And I appreciate that.
Well, it does take a little time.
And so I did get one confirmation for a demo.
Nice.
Tonight. So who's going to be number 2? So we can get that funnel demo. Who's going to be number 2?
How badly do you want a funnel demo?
Well, maybe that's what the issue is. Maybe nobody wants to see a funnel demo. Maybe they don't want to see me demo. Maybe I need to read between the lines here. Okay. All right. We'll just go with that.
I think Albert ought to do one.
Dane, you read our minds. Very
I guess so.
aren't you?
All right. So it's top of the hour. So we will call this the official meeting for the evening. I am going. So at this point, if you want to drop off without saying goodbye, more than happy. It's no big deal. Nobody's going to be upset if you don't say hi and bye and announce your departure. We're not an airport, so all is good. I am going to keep the meeting open for what I call the after hours party.